Hey everyone, welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Updates. If you're into the Iraqi dinar, if you're holding onto notes hoping for a revaluation or a significant exchange rate shift, then this video is for you. We're going to clear up a big misunderstanding that's floating around out there, especially about the old 25,000 dinar notes and what might happen if Iraq decides to change its currency structure or introduce new notes. Now let's get something straight right off the bat. Just because you're holding a 25,000 dinar note doesn't automatically mean you're sitting on a gold mine. I get it. You've got the note. You've maybe held it for years. You've heard the talk, the rumors, the RV hype. And maybe you're thinking, if they revalue and the rate jumps, I'm set. But the reality isn't that simple. And if you're not paying attention to the finer details, especially what the Central Bank of Iraq might do in terms of currency reform, you could end up very disappointed. Here's the thing. If Iraq decides to issue new notes, if they roll out a new series with lower denominations, maybe even remove the zeros from the currency, don't assume for a second that you can just stroll in with your old 25,000 dinar note and get the new exchange rate applied directly to it. That's not how it works. That's not how it ever works in a currency redenomination. What they're going to do, and this is based on what countries typically do in similar situations, is they'll adjust the old notes to reflect the new structure. That means they'll take off the zeros. You bring in your 25,000 dinar note, and they treat it like it's 25 new dinar. Then they apply the new exchange rate to that. So no, you're not going to get rich off the old face value if they're stripping zeros. This is what's called a redenomination, and it's important to distinguish it from a straight-up revaluation. A redenomination is usually just a cosmetic or accounting change. It's not necessarily tied to an increase in value. So if Iraq says, hey, we're going to lop off 3 zeros and issue new notes, then your old 25,000 becomes 25 in the new currency. It's a one-to-one swap in terms of value, not in terms of face amount. Don't confuse the two. This is why I keep saying, don't get too excited if you start hearing news about new notes being printed or new designs being released. That's not necessarily the news you want. It might sound like progress, it might feel like something's happening. But if they're introducing new notes and adjusting the structure of the currency, that's not a good sign for anyone hoping to cash in on the old notes at a much higher rate. What we want to see happen, what would actually be positive for dinar holders, is for Iraq to increase the exchange rate without touching the notes. That's the key. You want to see the current notes remain in circulation, with all those zeros on there, and then the exchange rate itself increase. That's when the math starts to work in your favor. That's when your 25,000 dinar note could actually be worth more in real terms. If they increase the exchange rate from, say, 1,300 dinar to the dollar to something stronger, like 500 or even 100 dinar to the dollar, and they don't touch the note, then yeah, you've got a shot at some serious upside. But if they reissue the currency, reset everything, and remove the zeros, then the upside is gone. Your note gets adjusted down, and you're not you're right where you started. So it all comes down to this: don't get fooled by the hype. Don't buy into the idea that any change is a good change. Not all news is good news when it comes to currency reform. What matters is how the change is structured. A revaluation of the existing notes? That's potentially good. A redenomination with new notes and fewer zeros? That's not what you want if you're holding old notes. Let me be clear, none of this is financial advice. I'm not here to tell you to buy or sell anything. But I am telling you to think critically, pay attention to the specifics, and be realistic about what's likely to happen. There's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of wild speculation, and it's easy to get caught up in it. But if you're holding dinar, you owe it to yourself to understand the difference between an increase in value and a change in structure. So stay sharp, stay informed, and always do your own research. I'll keep bringing you the updates, the breakdowns, and the real talk without the hype. And if something major does happen, we'll be right here to go through it together. Thanks for tuning into Iraqi Dinar Updates. If you found this helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next video. Drop a comment if you've got questions or want to talk about what you're hearing in the dinar community. Until next time, take care and stay smart out there.